Most people believe that they're subject to the randomness of the universe. And the truth is very different. Facts are facts, science is science. I'm a physicist, an entrepreneur second. I have created my life by catching myself thinking thoughts that aren't in my own interests and sitting back and saying, hang a second, and rethinking it. I'm Trevor G. Blake. I'm a physicist by education. I'm a serial entrepreneur by vocation. If you want more of these videos, hit the bell button, I think it's called. Hit the subscribe button. I'm involved in personal development because I think it needs fixing. Most of what I see online, I gotta be honest with you, is not based on any kind of fact or science. It's feel-good ideology, and it's not surprising that people who spend thousands of dollars doing all these courses end up getting exactly what they think about, which is no change whatsoever. I want to make a difference. So Mother Teresa was once asked why she didn't attend anti-war rallies, and she said, I'm not against war, I'm for peace. When I read that, whether it was true or not, whether I read it, I thought it was so profound. In a few words, it sums up my whole philosophy, that we get what we think about. So in Mother Teresa's quote is the understanding of quantum physics. It's the understanding that everything in the universe is energy. And energy can neither be created nor destroyed, only converted into another form. This is an irrefutable law. You can't get away from it. It's so profound. It's so important to the lives we're going to live if we choose to pay attention to it. The life you have today is the result of all the thoughts you've had. Whether you take responsibility or accountability is nothing to do with me. It's up to you. But you're responsible for your life, even though you might think someone else is to blame or circumstances are to blame. It's how you thought about those other people and how you thought about those circumstances that makes a difference. So you have to change your thoughts. A simple example is debt. Almost everybody I meet is in personal debt. Credit cards, mortgages, buying stuff that they can't afford just because they've been convinced that they need it now. And what happens with that is every time you get your debt balance, your stomach turns over and you go, oh my God, how am I going to get out of this debt? And as soon as you use the word debt, it goes out into the universe and it converts into its material equivalent, more debt. Inadvertently, most people are creating their circumstances by thinking about what they're against. This is profound stuff. This is vital. Not just for survival, but for success. So all we have to do, it's so simple. All we have to do is change the way we think. Catch ourselves. This isn't positive thinking. Thoughts happen in 500 milliseconds. A neurochemical reaction to some external stimulus creates a spark that can be measured and given a label to. And then that goes out into the universe and it converts into its material equivalent. The more we think about debt, the more debt we have. The more we think about a lousy relationship, the more lousy relationship we have. The more we think about fear, the more fear we have a reason to have. And so all we have to do is catch ourselves. It's so simple. This is part of my science of intentions. Intentions are those things that help us get our dreams. There's a technique to it. And part of that technique is to hold our mentalities, to step back a little bit and think about what we're thinking about. Think about how many times in a day you have fearful thoughts. How many times a day you're self-critical. How many times a day you think of things going wrong. And when we feel those things, and we don't have to become saints, the beauty is when we feel those things, we can say, oh, wait a minute. That's not a good thought. I'll change it. And how do I change it? I change it from being not what I'm against, but what I'm for, just like Mother Teresa said. I'm not against war, I'm for peace. I'm not against debt, I'm for financial independence. I'm not against this lousy relationship, I'm for meeting someone who inspires me to be the best version of myself. I'm not against this job that drives me mad and makes me feel miserable. I'm for being the best version of myself I can possibly imagine, doing a job that I love to do and would do for free. It takes a fraction of a second to change that thought. But most people don't do this. Most people believe that they're subject to the randomness of the universe. And the truth is very different. Facts are facts, science is science. I'm a physicist, an entrepreneur second. I have created my life by catching myself thinking thoughts that aren't in my own interests and sitting back and saying, hang a second, and rethinking it. So in the old days when I had debt and I would get my credit card bill and it would make me feel sick to the stomach, I would stop, I'd close my eyes, and I would imagine what it feels like, just for a brief second, what it feels like to be financially independent, to be able to buy anything I look at. That's all I did to change my life. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get my next video. This is all part of the science of intentions. If nothing else happens, we never meet again, you never watch another Trevor G. Blake video, remember this message. Stop being against something and be for the thing you want. There's no point joining a rally that's against some event. It achieves nothing but more anger and more need for more rallies. If you're for a solution, if you're for success, those thoughts alone will change the world.